ahead with Coach Farley.
Coach, great opening drive, but it seemed like the team had a little difficulty in controlling the line of scrimmage up front. I know Iowa just tried to come out and do that, and, up front dominate the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think you saw the game plan right out of the gate for them is that they tried to rush the ball the whole first half and win that part of the game, and then we actually tried to do the same thing on our side. So we wanted to rush the football, and we did. We just didn't do it consistently enough.
There's been so much talk about Iowa changing things offensively. Did you expect them to come out and do the ground and pound type that they did today?
Not really. I expected them to get in 2 tight ends because that's their strength. And I expected them to rush the football against us or try to establish the run game for the rest of the season. So against us, if I was the coach, I would have done the same thing. Try to get confidence in my run game. From what they were doing. So we expected the 2 tight end set, and we were in some bad positions defensively that gave up some runs, and then the running back made some nice cuts. So once we got out of some of the slanting stuff, then we did better. But I didn't expect him to continuously run the ball.
What did you think of the Iowa fullback? I mean, certainly you didn't expect Wiseman to carry the ball 25 times. What was the unique challenge about facing him today?
Well, it was, he wore us down. I think you saw that we missed some tackles that we don't normally miss. We missed too many tackles today, so it's really the storyline.
Coach, the character of your team, though, had to be shown in the goal line stand. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was important for our team, for our school, because we came down here to win the game. Probably that initial drive and what happened in the first half, I was actually felt good at halftime at 17-13. But we never got control of the second half, so I thought that was important for this team and for our school to win that line of scrimmage at the goal line and not give them that 4th and inches.
I imagine after what you've seen through 3 weeks that you're very confident now going into the Valley season.
Well, I got an idea of our football team, but our football team will change a little bit now next week. We lost a couple of guys today, so we'll see what we come up with next week for Youngstown.
Was that first drive scripted, and then after that first drive, what did they do to change things to slow you guys down, especially in the second half?
We probably didn't stay with the run long enough. I mean, that first drive, we got 2 tight ends and 2 backs in the first play and got 8-9 yards out of it. And we probably should have came back to some of that stuff and just tried to pound the line of scrimmage, and we kind of, that was scripted, of course, like you said, but we probably should have came back and just tried to pound the ball more out because we were moving the line of scrimmage, and we could have ran the ball without running backs, and kind of got away from it and moved around a little bit too much, and then when you don't complete the pass, you always look at the second and long.
A couple goal-to-goal situations, including for your touchdown. You looked like you had some sort of a wildcat formation in there with your running back taking the ball rather than Skyler. What is that a wrinkle that you decided to put in for this game, or is this something you're working on for the rest of the year as well?
No, we did that against Wisconsin. I don't think that surprised them. We had that same play against Wisconsin, maybe a different blocking scheme to it, but the same formation out the goal line. And we just wanted to spread them out so they couldn't load the box, and then just try to power it in.
Mark, your thoughts on David Johnson? You know he was a featured back for you early, and then came back to a little bit late. How did he look to you today?
I thought he was a very good running back. And when he was in there, he was effective. He changed the course of the game when he was in there. So I think that says it is very evident that he strengthened our offense.
What is the difference, between leaving here with a victory and leaving with a loss?
Well, leaving here the way we are is all I can speak for. And, I'm pleased with our team, what they had to do in the last 3 weeks. And as you can see, a Big Ten team is going to line up and just try to win the line of scrimmage and wear you down. And that's kind of what happened. And, there's a point in time that you do wear a little bit, but that's why I thought that goal line stand was big. That was something we had to step up and make the play on. So leaving here, I'm pleased with what our team was asked to do and what they did in the last 2 weeks. I thought we could have won both football games. We came in here thinking we could win this game. We did not perform. We didn't play that well here today. We played good at Wisconsin. We didn't play that well here today. We had a couple moments. So we got to take that because we missed too many tackles and too many blocks and jumped off sides, things like that we can't do when you're playing. You know, this is like a playoff game type atmosphere / intensity of the game when you're playing. So you know, that's where we're at. We're only 3 games in the season.
Coach, are you better for playing those 2 games, those 2 tough opponents? I know you lost a couple players today, or what do you think about this?
I think we're better for it leaving here, but my biggest concern right now is getting them all back for next week. How do we get to that level of play next week? Because we've been to the intensity level twice now, and we got to go right back for 2 more weeks now. So how we get this team back will be very important. That will be the biggest test of this team now. The character of this team will be tested, how resilient they can come back and play on the road again next week in another environment that is very intense. And that's a huge game for Youngstown as it is for us.
Mark, your defense held up better at Wisconsin today. Besides missed tackles, what was the difference?
Oh, I didn't get him in the right spot today. I didn't go in the right spot. Could have been better spots there so they could win the angles. We didn't win the angles, and I didn't get the setup right for him.
Was there any reason you didn't try to run the ball more, say, in the second quarter, or kind of feed off of that first drive where David kind of had, I think, 57 total yards, and kind of feed him more in that second and third quarter?
Yeah, we were feeding you pretty good there, and then we had that. We were down to the end zone, and that would have been a big score right there that we took the field goal on. We needed that touchdown right there, and then he was taking a lot of hits too. And yeah, we probably, if you sat there and said that was your football game that you're living and dying for, you probably would have kept him in and kept grinding it. But he'd already run the ball like 5-6 times in a row, and there's a wear and tear, and then they start making bad cuts and bad hits and bad angles, and you know, that's why we got 2 backs. So we gave it to Carlos and put Carlos in. That's the purpose of having 2, is try to keep him so you don't break one down.
Anything you can tell us, Mark, about Gacky and Cutcom?
Yeah, they're both on crutches now, so we'll find out more on Monday. It doesn't sound too promising for Cutcom, but Gacky his time will tell. But it didn't sound very good about the first thing on Zach. Zach was really getting good at nickel for us.
What does this say about your quarterback to go to 2 tough environments for anybody, doesn't matter what level they are, but perform the way he did? He was only sacked once, both games, Wisconsin and Iowa, and he's only a freshman. You gotta like what his future holds.
Well, here's where I think these 2 games will show up. I don't know what will happen this year, but I think a lot of that football team that played these 2 football games were sophomores. He's a redshirt freshman. David's a redshirt sophomore. Many of those players out there were very young, all those receivers. So I think these games will help our football program in the next 2 seasons, because how they train and what they're up against, they know what it is and that level to get to and the level they have to play at. So they learned a lot these last 2 weeks. Now, I'm not worried about those years. We got to find a way to get this team healthy and back on the field and get the right guys. So we'll have to mix and match some things next week to get right after Youngstown. Cole Morgan is a good leader. You saw he's a poised player. He throws good balls. We've got good receivers. So we just need to build from that.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.